Hello, I am Chad Lutzke, and I am here to do a reading from my newest book, The Neon Owl. Book 1, When the Shit Hits the Fan. This is not your typical Lutzke. This is a crime thriller with lots of humor in it. It's not dark and sad or anything like that. But I had a lot of fun writing it, and I hope that if you choose to read it, that you will enjoy reading it. Sorry about the glare on my glasses. I don't have the cool lights that these kids use for their YouTube videos or anything like that. I don't know anything about lighting, so let's begin, shall we? Chapter 1. You know what? This is not working. 1 second. Alright, man. That's better. Chapter 1. I had Coltrane. The last relationship I was in ended the same way it started. Me in pain. I'd caught my junk in my zipper. Just a bit of skin, but enough to make me howl and take my sweet time zipping up ever since. The girl laughed her ass off, hurrying with her bra and struggling with the fasten. I didn't help. I'd lost all interest in chivalry. Her laugh was a sign of things to come. We lasted 4 months. She was one of several that never worked out, and just another reason to leave Tacoma. The phone call from a lawyer being the catalyst. Your Aunt Ruth is dead and she left you everything. That's a direct quote. No bedside manner, no other details, and if I'd been closer to Aunt Ruth, I might have spit shit in his ear about breaking things gently. But I was too stunned. Aunt Ruth didn't have a lot of money. It was all tied up in her motel, a shithole on Sunset Boulevard in West LA. When I met with the lawyer, he showed me a photo. It was at least 20 years old. And since time heals a building like nails fix a flat, I knew not to expect much once I got there. One stipulation, he'd said, you can't sell it. Aunt Ruth was adamant about the building staying in the family, me being the last in a short line, unless of course there was a mini-me out there, and I can think of 2 incidents where that could be the case. The first was a hot little Mexican in Denver who'd frequented my bed for the better part of a week, just before I'd moved to Tacoma. A young lady who assured me the pill had blocked any chance of our reproducing. It wasn't until after I'd moved that a friend shared the truth. She was no 20-year-old judo instructor, but a 16-year-old high school dropout. And before you go thinking ill of me, I was 17 at the time. This was no cradle robbing. I've questioned the truth behind the pill ever since. The other was a one-night stand, your average drunken romp, most of which I couldn't remember even if threatened with bamboo under my nails, except for one awkward moment. That trip a man takes to the bathroom after coitus, the one where he disrobes his Johnson of its latex, well, it was already gone. Eaten by a flower I'd never see again. That's the one that worried me the most. But I'm not the kind of guy to reject an unexpected knock on the door from a 17-year-old who has my eyes. I'd welcome it. It took me less than a week to pack and tie loose ends, which included finishing the final 30 frames and my bowling league. We placed second and left with a trophy, one I promptly took to Goodwill along with a bag of old clothes. I can't very well call myself a minimalist if I'm lugging around dust collectors like that. A trophy or a decorative vase, they're the same to me. Winning the trophy was nice, but I've got my mind to keep the memory. So, 4 days later, I was there on the highway, pissing on the side of the road in the middle of a long drive to the City of Angels. I zipped up, slowly, took my last breath of fresh Washington air, then headed toward the van and rented trailer. Everything I owned was in there. My collection of vinyl, the shelves to put them on, the turntable and speakers. I'm a minimalist, not soulless. A man without music is a man without, period. About minimalism, it doesn't always go hand in hand with that hippie free spirit bullshit. At least not for me. I'm no barefoot trekking, weed-puffing, aging flower child who thinks the sun shines out of Jerry Garcia's ass. But my custom Dodge van puts me in that category for some. Shag carpet, bed, mini fridge, and a stereo system that'll turn heads 3 blocks away. But there's no wizard airbrushed on the side, no large-breasted barbarian, no dragons. Just a two-tone orange and purple that in the right light, you'd swear had stars living on her. When I left for LA, I still hadn't named her. She deserved one, but nothing struck me as worthy. A woman's name didn't seem right, not with my lady luck. But as I ate the last stretch of highway, the sweet tenor of John Coltrane as my soundtrack, the name seemed obvious. Gandalf had Shadowfax, Bibi had Lucille, and I had Coltrane. Chapter 2, The Neon Owl. I'd been to LA once before. It was the 80s. Punk was dying and the cock rock scene in full bloom, particularly around sunset. Aquanet and split ends for miles. Walk down the strip with an open flame and you were liable to light the whole street afire. Mom and I had gone there to visit Aunt Ruth. This was pre-motel. Aunt Ruth had a husband then who owned real estate, but he wasn't my uncle. He was never awarded that title. This is her third husband and not her last. I've forgotten his name, but I remember him being responsible for the change in Aunt Ruth. She went full-blown hippie. I'm talking meditation, yoga, tapestries, and a considerable amount of weed to keep it all tied together. Keep the fog rolling. She even changed her name to Luna Moon. Not legally, but it's who she was anymore. Mom refused to call her that, and I don't think the words crossed her lips once, other than to poke fun. This time, LA seemed busier somehow. More cars, more smog, more yoga mats, and lemon water. I chalked up the change to perspective. Being older now, my eyes weren't zeroed in on tits and palm trees, but on making my way down the 5 without dinging a bumper. While the drivers around me took glances at their cell phones, a Bluetooth stuck in their ears. Took a detour down Livonia Avenue. Drove by my aunt's old house. It had been painted a different color, but the trees out front were the same. One of which I'd spent several hours in as a kid, catching a glimpse of bra through a window across the street. My cursed puberty kept me in that tree most of the day, hoping for just one more peek. Kids are perverted little creeps. The motel was on the corner of Sunset Boulevard and Hamilton, pink and blue like stucco cotton candy. Overall, it was in decent shape, though I'd soon learn it was no longer a motel but a U-shaped strip of efficiency apartments. When Aunt Ruth bought it, she kept the name as well as that god-awful color scheme, and turned it into tiny apartments. Actually, the place was well kept. Evergreen hedges trimmed, the walkways free of weeds, and the sign out front lit up as it should. The Neon Owl. I parked Coltrane in the back and locked her up, then headed toward the office, owner's keys in hand. $5 and I'll look after your van. Make sure nobody messes with it. A thin man with skin like a saddle that's seen too much ass sat in between 2 hedges, his eyes ocean blue against the dark leather. His hair a halo of wild, thinning gray. I gave him a once-over and asked if he lived there. He patted the ground where he sat. It's one of my spots. I make rounds so as I won't attract attention. You sleep out here? Some nights, and some nights I'm down at the park. It's crowded down there, so most of the time I'm right here. Just don't tell Luna, she'll chase me away. She thinks I'm the one shitting out here, but I'm not. That's Evan. I've seen him do it. Drop trowel right in the bushes like it's some kind of litter box. Luna don't believe me though. She swears it's me. And I said to her, why would I shit where I sleep? She don't want to hear logic. Stubborn old woman. Luna passed away. He wrinkled the leather around his eyes. Well, that explains why I ain't seen her around. Who are you then? I'm her nephew. She leave you the owl? That she did. You're not going to be a problem, are you? Oh, hell no. I mind my business. Now, how about that $5? I'm not paying you to watch the van. Well, then don't come crying to me if you'll be the first I come to. I see how it is. Good. I walked away and the man followed. Hold up. How about $5 just for the hell of it? You are going to be a problem, aren't you? Hey, a man's got to make a living. What are you going to spend it on? Gonna get drunk? I appreciated the honesty and pulled some bills from my pocket. Here's 3. You'll have to settle for Wild Irish or Mad Dog. Oh, hell. Don't puke in the bushes, and don't shit in them either. I done told you what... Yeah, we'll see. The guy shuffled away while I unlocked the office and hit the light. The first thing I saw was a computer sitting on a desk behind the counter. The damn thing sent a spike to my gut. Because of Audrey. Audrey was the one who got away. It was a full 2 years of bliss, which is no kind of record, but it's the one that hurt the most because it didn't have to end. A dream job opportunity popped up, swept her away, and I loved her too much to hinder it. The worst part was not following her. Guess which smog-filled city she moved to? Yep. Last I knew, she was still here. Last I knew, she was single. But last I knew was 4 years ago. That computer at the desk was a temptress. If I wanted to find Audrey, that'd be my source. And it'd probably only be a matter of time before I sought her out. See if those embers still burned. Sadie, good luck with the YouTube channel. And thank you very much for inviting me to do this. Happy reading, everybody.